Welcome to FUT Weekly.
A hazardous waste of an SBC,
A Chemgate rivaling Packspiracy,
a FUT Champions grind taking its toll.
and a new Black Friday pack bigger than Mario Balotelli's insurance premium.
And as always, we talk through the team of the week, Dynamite Discards, and our informed impressions.
Hello, welcome to week 10 of FUT Weekly. We're into double figures, and I'm here with Horace, as always.
Hi there.
And I'm Ben, and we'll be starting off by talking about Hazard, Player of the Month Hazard, who we talked briefly about last week.
Yeah, that got leaked all over social media sort of the day before EA's official announcement, and so everyone was certain he was going to be Player of the Month, but we weren't sure if it was going to be an SBC or whether the card would be in packs. And we were sort of both leaning towards packs.
Because we couldn't see EA turning down the opportunity to encourage people to open packs.
But no, we got the SBC, and it's a big one.
Yeah, but the interesting thing is, I think there is some kind of pack opening motivation there because it was a week when there were a lot of Premier League informs.
Yeah, so you need 2 Premier League informs for one of the challenges for it, which has put quite a lot of pressure on what would normally be cheap Premier League informs. Price-wise, there was also Inform Lukaku and Mertens. So there were 2 Belgian informs. And that's the real stinger in this SBC. Like the one biggest outlay you're going to have to make if you didn't get in there right at the start is a Belgian inform. And because there are so few Belgian informs full stop. Like until I think they changed the price ranges last night or at some point in the last day or two. Before they did that, Carrasco, Benteke, and Chadley were completely extinct. I saw one person tweeting about how they'd been just sitting on the market trying to snipe a Carrasco for 3 hours before they got one, and it did mean they got him for 150k rather than the sort of 300k that you were paying for Mertens and Lukaku at that point. But yeah, they've now updated those price ranges. So I think those slightly lower rated Belgian informs are about 250 now. But basically, for at least the Belgian team, you've got one player where you're shelling out well over 200k, plus a couple of Premier League informs and a lot of fairly high rated players, as well as a bit of price fixing, I think, on Hull players because they have very few decently rated Hull players.
I had a couple of Hull players, sort of.
I think you're probably looking at a minimum outlay of about 500k at this point.
I'd say so. Sounds about right. Yeah, we were saying, big card, obviously very desirable, but I think the price is just too high.
Yeah, for me, I'm not going to do it.
No.
I've been kicking myself this week a bit though, because last week we spoke about how there's often a Thursday morning dip in the price of new informs, and I picked up an Ericsson quite cheap, and I was considering trying to do a bit of trading on it this week. And last week I was looking at Mertens, and I so nearly picked up a couple of him for 90k. So I could have
crazy profit
turned 180k into 600 odd this week, but I didn't do that because I didn't predict the Belgian inform thing. Well, I didn't think there was going to be an SBC at all. Yeah.
I think I was kind of quite doubting of it. I mean, it seems like they're going to consistently do it. I mean, if Hazard isn't.
Yeah, I mean, that sets precedent. It will be an SBC every month.
So it's something that if you're looking to trade, it's really worth looking out for.
Yeah.
Just speculate by some informs that are unlikely to go down that relate to the Player of the Month or likely Player of the Months. Yeah,
definitely. And I mean, I guess the one funny thing, EA have clearly also shown us over the last couple of weeks with SBCs that they do like to try and subvert your expectations, troll people, particularly with marquee matchups. We've seen it a lot where they've missed out big games.
Missed out England-Scotland.
Yeah, they missed out England-Scotland.
Like Serbia-Wales or something.
But with the Hazard one, they got in a bit of that where there was no Chelsea requirement, really.
Yeah.
And so as soon as the SBC came out, the market was flooded with all these Chelsea players people have been hoarding. And I think then you spotted John Terry was going for pretty much 900 coins at one point.
Yeah. Quite a few Chelsea players were going for very cheap. Although weirdly, Azpilicueta, I think because of some the high-rated BPL factor, and he's a different nation to most players.
He's a slightly rarer nation.
And he's a left-back. He's the highest-rated left-back. But the one thing I would say is that it was a really good time. Like, you see the opportunity in these situations because obviously a lot of people had also bought Lille players, that being Hazard's only former club. It seemed like quite a safe bet. I mean, I picked up a couple for discard, which I cleverly sold on before he actually went. Was an SBC, thinking that there probably wouldn't be an SBC, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But at that point, people were speculating that there would be an SBC. So they bought. They were buying my Lille players.
Sold on ahead of time, which was the right thing to do, but you did
for
it for the wrong reason.
Yeah, basically.
Nice.
But then the other thing that happened is obviously when the SBC came out and it didn't require any Lille players, I was able to complete the Lille part of the Lacazette League One challenge. Challenge. Really, really cheaply. I think I didn't pay more than like 50 or 100 above discard for all the players.
Yeah, I did the same, and it was like a couple of K basically to do that. And you got a decent gold pack, I think, for that one actually.
Yeah. And actually, I was going to say I have been looking at that challenge specifically, and I realised one of the best methods for doing this is go into the squad builder challenge area, fill out every squad with a concept squad for that team.
Just using the squad builder function.
Yeah, use the squad builder function. It pops it all in straight away, and then just like swap around some of the players. If you sometimes basically on about I think 5 of the league ones, there were more players than the full squad, if that makes sense. So I just swapped in some of the players depending on who I thought would be useful. But it's worth keeping an eye on the fact there are more players than you've put in the squad. But it's only about five clubs in Ligue 1. So then once I'd done that, you kind of have everything ready. So all I did was, because the weekend league rewards were out Wednesday night, just at that time, loads of cards on the market, just drop loads of bids on players. Generally, obviously, you're going to be able to sell them on for more if you get duplicates. And also did some sniping under 400 coins. And basically, you just pick up players continually and you'll start filling it out. And obviously, because of the fact you've got the concept squad, as soon as you add a player into your club, it goes straight into the concept squad. So you're all good and you're set up. It's actually like makes it so much quicker than going and adding the players every time.
Yeah. I think in terms of actually being able to search for the players and knowing which players you're looking for, that's definitely the best way of doing it. And focusing on times when it's good to buy in general, because that will extend to league and picking up these players.
And obviously I'll also look to, maybe a bit further down the line, I'll look to pick up the silver players. Once I'm kind of sure I'm going to do it.
I feel like I definitely will do this challenge at some point because that Lacazette card looks really, really good. Yeah. I used his non-inform in the weekend league this past weekend, and
that triple 88 on it.
Yeah, the triple 88 on the SBC card. He looks really strong. But yeah, his non-inform is an awesome striker anyway.
Yeah, quickly going back to Hazard. I mean, we were looking at the stats just before and really didn't feel. I mean, feel free to look at it yourself and compare the stats, but we just didn't feel the Hazard card is very good value when you compare it. Like, aside from the fact that it's an SBC, but especially when you're having to pay 400, 500k for it.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously the SBC reward, the pack rewards for each of the individual challenges are all right. They're kind of the best pack rewards we've seen for individual challenges, but they're not gonna, unless you get very lucky, they're not gonna pay off your outlay at all. And I mean, if you compare the cost of the SBC Hazard to his inform, the stat increases are pretty minimal. They're kind of 2 or 3 at most on any individual in-game stat.
Sprint speed not even higher.
Sprint speed is the same on his non-inform, his inform, and his SBC card.
Yeah.
But the inform card is about 400k at the moment, and if you're shelling out 500 plus for the SBC card, and that's sunk costs, like you can't get that back. Whereas the inform, you can sell it on if you stop using it. So the extra 100k, and again, to stress that you can't get back. It just doesn't seem worth it.
Yeah, you're locking in those coins. There's nothing you can do with them afterwards. It's quite interesting. I don't know whether there's any kind of agenda from EA why they want people to kind of do that. It's interesting.
Yeah, because it's not taking coins out of the market. It's not like a money sink that you might see to try and get rid of inflation. It's taking players out of the market. So I guess it's trying to stop things going the other way. It's trying to maintain the value of high-rated players, which makes sense because if you maintain the value of high-rated players, you maintain interest in packs.
Yeah, and I think there's been this theory that coin selling in some ways, and when it wasn't crashing the market, was helping or destroying the market, was helping EA because it inflated
The
player
prices of
prices
players.
to the point at which you almost had to buy packs because you weren't going to get that coin total playing the game.
Yeah.
I think they realised that maybe they would go the other way and actually give people better rewards, encourage them to play the game in the hope that that would encourage them to commit to the game more and spend more on packs. But I think that for a time that there was a lot of rumours that it was helping EA quite a lot, but I think as they realised that it was ruining the game, they kind of changed tact. But it definitely helps in terms of driving up the price of players, increasing demand on packs, especially when they have those Premier League players in the packs.
Yeah, absolutely. But essentially, I think our verdict on the Hazard SBC is if you got in very early last week...
Like David Meyler,
the Hull City midfielder who we discovered this week is a keen Ultimate Team player, tweets all about it and stuff. He did the Hazard SBC like within the first hour it came out, and I saw him respond to someone who was tweeting at him who was asking what he thought the price of the players would do, and he very astutely pointed out that the price of Belgian informs was going to skyrocket, and so that was the time to pick up at least the Belgian inform part of the SBC, because as we've seen with most squad build challenges, it's cheapest to do it at the end of its run. But I think this one, at least the Belgian inform part, if you've missed the boat on it already, like it's going to cost you now because there's such a limited number of them, and they're all being submitted for these squad build challenges,
which is a shame because that Mertens card looks really good.
Mertens card looked really good.
And it's kind of consigned to being like a card which is...
It's just a lost card now, basically. Like, it will be incredibly expensive if any of them survive this Hazard SBC cull. And yeah, I think basically the last thing to say about the Hazard SBC is if you just want to use Eden Hazard's card, pick up his regular card because it's 150k and that's only going to go down. Put the right chem cell on it, and it's basically the same as the SBC card in the important stats. Speaking of SBCs, we had a couple of other Movember ones in the past week. In the run-up to last week's Weekend League, there was one for Zlatan, which you needed a bunch of Premier League players and a load of, three Swedish players.
Yeah, it was a little bit awkward, especially to get the chemistry.
It was a bit awkward, to get the chemistry. I had a look at trying to do it with just players from my club, and I think I either couldn't quite get the rating or couldn't quite get the chemistry without buying anyone. And because it was literally just a lone Movember Ibrahimovic for 15 matches, I decided to leave it. All
he's got is a +5 physical upgrade.
Yeah, it's not +5 physical on a regular Ibra, and obviously Ibra's a great card and a great player, but 0 permanent reward for doing it. I just decided I was going to leave it.
It was going to cost like 10k.
Needing to buy certain Swedish players, like, it's a bit awkward. But the other one that they had, which I think we both did, was the Matuidi one.
Yeah.
I've been using his non-informed for the last couple of weeks. He's a really solid player this year, though his passing could maybe do with some improvement. But for this one, it was A, easier to complete, and B, you also got a 2 rare gold players pack alongside it, so like the reward for the gold upgrade.
Yeah, and SBC. They were tradable, which is...
And they were tradable.
I think I got Koke and someone not that good, but it was alright.
I can't remember what I got, but basically that was... You just needed Ligue 1 players, at least 5 French, 4 rare players, and they had to be gold, which is actually quite easy to do at the moment. But yeah, I think that one was quite worth it. But what it led both of us to think about, I think, was whether EA are going to, this week, maybe, have a Movember SBC that actually requires you to submit Movember cards and gives you some significant reward.
Because there's been quite a lot of talk of this. Like, we bought those informs just because they were so cheap at discard.
Yeah, exactly. Thought, they've all been discarded
what can you lose?
For like the whole month. So either you lose like 50 or 100 coins on each one and just quick sell them, or you save a bit of money or a bit of time completing some SBC. So I think we'll basically just have to wait and see.
Yeah,
they seem to have been...
There's still time. But
there is still time.
But EA do love trolling people who chat on the forums about their investments. So you wonder whether that means that...
I mean, the November ends next Wednesday. They seem to have been releasing the Movember SBCs on Mondays.
So there is time for one
So
last hurrah.
Could see I would pencil in Monday the 28th of November for a potential big SBC with the Movember cards. If we don't get it, we don't get it. and we have to quick sell the ones we've bought.
The other thing to note is I've acquired Gustavo, the CDM, who's a Movember card, and he's actually really quite good. So I think certain players, the Movember upgrade with a +5
is actually quite significant.
It's quite useful.
Did you ever use the Barzagli?
I didn't actually. I was looking to get him in because the +5 physical for him is certainly something that would help. But then I was looking at putting Anchor on him, and the stats are like 2 or 3 different.
Yeah.
So considering the price difference at the moment, I don't think it's worth it. But
not really worth it.
It does. He does look. I think the cards look kind of cool. Like I'd sort of
step down from your Halloween high horse.
Yeah. They aren't too bad. Like they've got a nice look to them compared with the Halloween ones anyway. Although I still have that Apara, so yeah. I can't hate it too much.
Cool. That was quite a good roundup of SBCs from this week because there was a lot to talk about on that. Do you want to quickly talk through our weekend league experiences?
Yeah, I know you had a weekend which you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, I kept up my run of getting gold 3 each week this month, but it really felt like a slog this week. I remember texting you about having had enough of this carnival of cuntery because it was just, it felt sweatier, more try-hardy. The lag was awful. I was getting really horrible lag, kind of pretty much all the games I played on Friday and a bunch on Saturday.
I mean, I get quite consistent lag.
You get quite consistent, yeah.
Well, not consistent, but like I get it in at least 10 to 15 of my game. No, actually, last weekend was really bad. You're right. I think I calculated or kept an eye on the amount of lag, and I think I had 10 games without any lag at all. So the rest had some lag. I mean, I think even some of the 10 games had like the odd bit, but I'm talking about sort of lag which affect a particular move in a game. In 30 of the games that I played.
Yeah. I mean, the lag I was getting was, again, this weird slowdown lag where the game slows down for a second, then speeds up rapidly, and what like kind of the inputs from the last 5 seconds get played out, and you basically have no control. And several times throughout the weekend, that did cost me matches. Like very specifically, I could go back through, see which goals I conceded, and it was that slow down, speed up lag where it just happened that it had favoured my opponent more than me. So that I really hated doing the weekend league this week.
Yeah, it was pretty horrible.
And I've now kind of committed for this month because I want to get the gold monthly rewards. So I need to get, I think, 12 wins this weekend guarantees me gold 3 for the monthly. So I'm going to do that. And I do actually have quite a lot of time this weekend, so I might play the full 40 depending on how I'm feeling. But I'm probably going to take a few weekends off in December.
Yeah, I think that might be a good idea.
I might play a handful just to try and get a reward. I mean, if you play 5 games, you get something. So I think I can stomach playing 5 games over the weekend, at least next week, assuming I maybe do get gold this coming weekend, because then I'll be qualified for the first one in December. But it's definitely, it just takes a mental toll on you, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it's really interesting because they clearly introduced it as like a kind of introduction to like esports kind of thing. So the idea was to find these players who are like the top quality players, maybe hadn't been discovered either, and it's almost like a scouting network in a way for
I
esports.
guess it works on that level, and also trying to popularize highly competitive FIFA in terms of like building interest and an audience.
I've always found FIFA highly competitive.
I do think the average quality of player and play has increased this year because people are having to really concentrate.
I think what you've also got this year is a lot of high quality gamers who have stuck at the game, who previously would have switched to COD already. So FIFA's been
that is an interesting point.
Very, very dominant as a game this year because of weekend league. And,
I guess particularly also if COD has sort of whiffed this year.
Yeah, it's just kind of wavered in the wind and fallen over. And so that I think that has an impact. But going back to this esports thing, the thing is, an esports tournament, for example, is it's like a few games. Really, it's not a huge number of games. It's not over a week, a long period. Maybe that is something they were going to introduce, but then it's weird because weekend league, I mean, it's essentially an endurance sport.
It is. I mean, I over this weekend, for the most part, tried to make sure whenever I lost a game, I would stop playing for at least, even if it was just 5 minutes, go get a glass of water, eat a biscuit, whatever you want. Just like put down the controller and step away for at least like a couple of minutes just to chill,
refuel,
restock. And a lot of the time that like really, I noticed that made a difference. I kept that up for maybe the first 15 games I played, and I never lost back to back in those first 15, which was good. And then as soon as I didn't do it, I lost 4 on the spin. I feel like I've mentioned this in previous weeks, but I really think stopping just for a little bit when you lose a game is so important. And likewise, if you're on a winning streak, that can help. But even so, like, try not to play more than maybe 3 or 4 without any kind of break, because like you will be flagging by the last couple.
In saying that, on Sunday, basically, I had this weird weekend where I thought I wasn't going to play that much. I was on 10 wins and had played sort of 20 odd games.
Yeah.
And my record wasn't looking good at that point. But it was in the evening, or Sunday afternoon kind of time. I suddenly put this run together where I won 9 games on the spin. And going into the evening, I kind of felt like I should sort of move on after I got to my 18, but just couldn't really like think about stopping at that point, considering how well I was doing and the fact that if I'd continued, I'd get up to 25.
Yeah.
If I continued that, I'd easily make it to 25. So then I had, I think, 9 games left or so at that point. I had to win, I think, 6 out of those to get gold 1. And it was just like a hellish 9 games, and then I got 3 wins, so I ended up being on 22 in the end. But it was really interesting to see that streakiness, and the fact that actually with the last 9 games where I was clearly tired and was trying to like keep the streak going, it was like kind of flogging a dead horse. It really wasn't worth it.
Yeah, you
and I think in hindsight, I should have just stopped then, and I would have been really happy with the weekend league.
Yeah, it is also interesting in terms of kind of how you view it, because the last 3 weeks I've got 18 wins, 19 wins, 18 wins. And
playing how many? 35?
Playing the first week I played 29. So that was a really good weekend.
Yeah,
I felt really happy with that. The next weekend I played 30, something like that. So again, I was happy with that. This weekend I think I played 34, 35. So it was a much more of a grind to actually hit that gold 3. And it really makes a difference in terms of how you view it. So like what I've come out of the weekend with is exactly the same, but I hated this one, and I kind of was all right with the previous 2 weeks.
I think I've made the mistake in mine of sort of going for quantity over quality. But I mean, maybe it's not a mistake, because I have sort of saved a bit of time by putting out a few games and things. But yeah, I do feel like I'm not as focused when I'm playing.
Yeah.
Because of that. So I think this weekend, basically, one of the reasons why I was so keen to get 25 was because if I got 25 or 26, it would have required me to get 25 or 26 this weekend, and I would have got elite overall for the month.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which would have been really good. So 11 team of the week items, including the possibility of
that striker
Ronaldo, which is always fun.
Well, assuming they keep the same monthly reward
structure
for November as they did in October.
So yeah, and on that, I think we were thinking maybe they would upgrade this silver and bronze rewards, because they do seem a bit shit. Yeah,
they do seem really harsh, I think.
But yeah, so I was obviously keen to carry that on. But so in the current situation that I'm in, because I got 22 wins, I need 29 wins this weekend to get elite, which is not unreasonable, but it is a lot higher than the 25 I've maxed before. Thing is though, that is also elite 3, so it would be really
give
nice
you
to
3 team of the week from next week. Unfortunately, not this week with Ronaldo.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah, no, I had been thinking how it's slightly weird that you could get a gold reward for your weekly reward each week in a given month, and get elite overall. Yeah. Because of how the monthly reward structures work. So I don't know if I don't think they tweaked the monthly rewards when they slightly toned down the difficulty of getting the higher gold and elite rewards, did they? So yeah, it's an interesting one that you can get elite.
And I think we were going to say, like, I really feel like the weekly rewards are they're slightly odd, because the cash reward is good. So gold 3 you get gold 3 to go. Yeah, gold 3 you get 30k, gold 2 you get 45k. Significant difference. but you've been getting gold 3 every week. I've got gold 2 more times, I think.
Yeah.
More time, definitely more. I think 3 or 4. 3.
I've only actually got gold 2 once. So,
yeah.
And you've had gold 2
but our
times.
rewards have been like pretty similar because
it's been pretty similar, or even I've been getting better, which obviously is partly pack luck. It's 2 people, it's a tiny sample size.
But the thing about the gold 3 is you get guaranteed players.
Yeah, gold 3 I think is actually a really good set combination of packs. You get 2 mega packs plus a rare players pack. So in any given mega pack, that's 30 items, 18 rare, all gold. Like you've got a very good chance of getting some decent gold players. And I got James Rodriguez. I packed him in a mega pack, not a rare players pack. But also I paid attention when I opened my weekly rewards this week. I got like 8 squad fitness cards. I got a huge number of contracts, and then like a bit of kind of your pack filler crap like kits and managers. Well, not managers, but kits and coaches. So I got that, and then also you get your 12 rare players back, which gives you like a decent chance of getting a solid player.
And because we compared rewards a little while ago, but I actually think that week you were quite lucky in terms of the number of players you got.
Yeah,
rare players.
Oh, was that when I had gold 2 and you had gold 3?
Yeah. And like honestly, like I got like literally nothing of value. I happened to get a 7k silver, but the best gold player I got was worth it probably just over a k. But it's because I got like a ton of gold kits. Yeah, because you get 2 rare gold kits because you get 2 mega rare, all rare mega packs.
For gold 2. Yeah.
And in those packs, you just get a load. I found I got just a load of like rare guff basically.
Yeah.
And like if you're getting like a full, at least you're getting 12 rare players in that. Whereas you don't really. Yeah, you don't really. I didn't see that many rare gold players.
And also, I suppose with the gold 3 getting 2 regular mega packs, you're still getting 18 rare gold items in each of those packs. Like it's only an extra 12 rares, and you're getting non-rares, which can still be useful So the difference in the packs is actually really minimal. Then it is just, as I guess we said at the time, it's the coins that makes the real difference between gold 2 and gold 3.
Yeah.
Because did I pack an extra 15k worth of stuff?
Well, yeah, because
maybe it's got Kante. Yeah, I did get N'Golo Kante for the second time. I also got Mertesacker for like the 4th time this year. I got Dries Mertens.
Again, like, the week after.
4 hours later. 4 hours after he came out of packs. I mean, yeah, it feels like it always happens, but I'm sure we could listen back and like almost every week one of us packed a player that had just stopped being in form. I also got Nemanja Matic. So I mean, it's like bad, that's decent. He's about 7k.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was quite happy with my rewards overall.
Nice. Yeah, I wasn't particularly happy with mine, but but actually, that I have this theory that if you obviously got decent rewards and you open at a similar time, but basically if you open packs at a time when lots of people aren't opening packs, you're more likely to get a better reward. Because I feel like EA would cap the quantity of rare sort of, I guess, elite players that come out of packs. Because if you have like everyone open their weekend league rewards, then surely in that kind of period there'd just be way too many elite players for the demand that there would be.
Yeah, I think I would have to try to like actually experiment and figure out if there's anything behind that.
I mean, the best rewards I've got have been from opening it like sometime after big pack opening times.
Yeah, sort of outside of peak playing and pack opening times. I wonder, because if anyone ever actually found something in the game code that explicitly meant that was happening, then that would be a massive scandal for EA. And I know they've kind of said like it's all EA property and like it's not gambling and there's no monetary thing.
It would be a scandal, but we know that EA aren't averse to that anyway. And also the fact that there's this whole thing that if players did actually genuinely have different value, then it would be gambling.
Yeah.
But they don't actually have a value.
Yeah.
In the real world. So
so
therefore they can excuse it. So EA... I think they have complete control over what comes out of packs. I mean, obviously they're not being like, oh, you've like, we like you, so we're going to give you better packs. And I doubt they give YouTube a better pack balls. People used to think that, but like, I think it's possible that they in some way restrict.
It's a weird one. It's not favoritism, and as you say, obviously they have explicitly stated like the players have no real world value, so it's not gambling. So I think legally they'd probably be fine. I just wonder if that level of manipulation of what's in packs would be the shit that sticks in terms of public perception and the community and people just feeling like EA had properly shafted them.
Yeah, Chem glitch.
Yeah, I mean, the Chem glitch, that was, or Chemgate, as our friends at Footstock call it, that was a big thing, but I feel like people care more about their coins than gameplay even. Like, I think if people felt like, I mean, obviously people know they're not getting their money's worth, in inverted commas, when they buy packs, because it's all a bit random and you're much more likely to get shit than anything good. But yeah, I think if EA were genuinely manipulating what goes into packs at different times, you might see a bigger backlash than we've seen from anything else.
I really felt that the Chemgate backlash should have been huge. It's kind of the same thing in that the belief that you're getting something of high value out of a pack, or you're buying packs because you believe there's going to be something valuable coming out of them.
Yeah.
But actually, these things don't have value.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I guess with the Chemgate thing, because until it came out, no one knew that informs weren't getting the effects of chemistry, their value in terms of Ultimate Team coins wasn't actually affected by the fact that they weren't getting the benefits of chemistry. So people, if you packed an Elite Inform, you were still getting like a similar relative value to what you'd get for an Elite Inform now that chemistry's fixed, because people thought that chemistry worked.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
That makes sense.
But your ultimate aim is to use them in packs, I suppose.
Use
them in teams. So
yeah, like definitely, like EA fucked up massively, and I agree. Like the backlash should have been bigger. I just think that the backlash, if this were true and came out, would be bigger.
Yeah, so, I mean, these things happen. Also, like I think that there was a lot of negativity towards EA, and having met people who worked on the game, you can tell that like there's no way that if they'd known that was happening, they would have just left it.
Yeah. So basically, they just didn't know, which is bad in its own way. But I guess it's not deliberate.
No.
Cool. Should we take a quick break there?
Yeah, and a quick announcement before we go to a break. We have started a bit of research through a survey to find out a bit more about goalkeepers.
Yeah, exciting, right?
And we have put a survey up on Twitter. We'll link it in the description. Yeah, if you're listening on YouTube, we'll put the link in the description. It will be on the blog. If you're looking at it through the blog, we'll put it on our Twitter, of course.
Yeah, we'll tweet it out a couple more times.
And yeah, so that basically we want you to fill out details about the team you play and the keeper you use. And we're going to try and make some conclusions on that, because we think it's slightly underrated. People don't really look at like how a certain keeper can work for them because of the way they play.
Yeah, like which stats and traits are most important depending on whether you're facing maybe more crosses, more long shots, that sort of stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, please do fill that out. We've already got quite a lot of responses actually, but more is always welcome.
Yeah. Cool. See you soon.
Was another very enjoyable break. So we'll start with your Reddit post.
Yeah, so this is a post by a guy called Tom Z. The title is New Team of the Week 10 pack, ? And it's a link to an image of a bit of code, and it seems to show a couple of different possible packs. One of them would contain a guaranteed player from Team of the Week 10 but be untradeable, and another pack is a possible one which says guarantees a Team of the Week player, but I again assume that would be Team of the Week 10 and that would be tradable. So it seems to be two possible packs at least that it's mentioning. And looking at the comments, people are saying either this could be maybe a reward for Movember SBC, which would tie into what we were talking about, where someone's suggesting maybe even you'd need like a full Movember squad, which seems a bit outrageous to me, to be honest. Or we were talking about it before, like that would be kind of pushing 100k for one Team of the Week player. I mean, obviously Ronaldo's in packs. Yeah. Like, I could see people actually just grinding that out if you think.
Yeah.
maybe if they had a lot of
but
coins.
the card weight, everyone knows on those top players, it's just so low.
Exactly.
Like, if you look at people's pack rewards for when they've got the weekly rewards and they get all those team of the week, like, hardly anyone gets.
It's still unlikely you get Ronaldo. So that's a possibility. The other probably more likely thing is this could be some kind of special pack we see as a flash sale.
Certainly the tradable one.
Certainly the tradable one is some kind of flash sale for Black Friday, which would be interesting. I mean, whether they'd have like an incredibly limited number of them, because you'd think EA have had this in FIFA Mobile in previous years, and I think this year where you get packs with guaranteed Team of the Week players in, or guaranteed Team of the Season players, or various things, and it allows them to charge a hell of a lot more for the pack. And I mean, I'd probably be tempted in picking up one of these just for the novelty if I got the chance.
And there's also this thing that there's a potential that there could be a 200k pack in the code. Which would be crazy.
Yeah, we've seen lots of people talking about 200k packs. Whether that would be, I mean, if it was paying 200k just for a Team of the Week player, probably not going to do that.
No.
But talking about possibly a 200k pack, as in a double 100k pack in one pack, so like 48 rare gold players.
And what would that be, like 4k FIFA points?
Probably something like that.
Which
so
is insane
that would be an awful lot of money for one pack, in which you will probably get like a lot of Mandzukic's and equivalent.
Yeah, it's basically one of those weird things that it doesn't, in a way, you give yourself a better chance, but someone might open a gold players premium and pack it.
Or someone might open a... I saw what seemed to be, for the first time, I've seen lots of screenshots of people allegedly getting ridiculous players in like the 2 rare player packs that you get from the gold upgrade SBC. I saw yesterday on Twitter doing the rounds what seemed to be quite a legit Ronaldo striker from one of those. Just in that, like, it didn't have the like centre trade pile or anything, which has been a giveaway on a few of those before, where people have like got a tradable version and are claiming that it's from that. So I mean, people can pull ridiculous stuff from anything. But if they did do a 200k pack, something to bear in mind would be you couldn't get it's better than getting, well, in some ways it's better than having 2 100k packs, because you can't get duplicates.
Can't get duplicates,
But then I guess equally that means you can't get 2 Ronaldos, which you could from 2 100k packs. But I think overall that probably helps you.
Yeah, it does. But yeah, so obviously Black Friday should be tomorrow. There's almost always crazy pack deals, and if people have made their teams already for the weekend league, which is quite possible, then that'll mean that the demand is going to be maybe not as high as you'd expect at a time when people are expecting a crash. But it also means that supply is obviously going to be off the charts because of those packs that we were just talking about. So that could really, really have an effect on the market. But it's really hard to tell because obviously Weekend League hasn't been in existence.
We've not had Weekend League around any kind of big pack moment in the FIFA calendar before. So it's all a bit of an unknown, but I think it's probably safe to say if EA do go big on the packs tomorrow, prices will drop. Yeah. I don't think we'll see a catastrophic market crash at all, but I suspect if you're holding out on some elite players, waiting to try and pick them up, I would probably hold on a little bit longer. Wait till Friday.
I mean,
or even Monday.
The only thing that concerns me is I've got we're quite contrasting. I've got 710k just sitting there, waiting to do something with it, and I've been waiting basically for a little while because I actually really enjoy playing with lower rated players. Yeah, the teams I've been using the Weekend League haven't been worth more than 30k or so, and so I'm looking forward to
using some higher rated
players, and I'm actually looking possibly to pick up a legend, just because I'm finding chemistry a little bit awkward and feel it'll help a lot. So I'm looking at Suker or maybe Brian Laudrup. Yeah. But I really want to see them drop a bit before I buy, just to know that I'm not going to be losing money if there's a crash in the future.
You don't want to potentially get shafted on that.
Because prices will drop around Christmas. They will drop going forward. And by Team of the Year, they'll have dropped. And beyond that, they'll of course drop. And the 700k I have isn't going to change.
Yeah, exactly. I think you're... Yeah, because I have spent quite a lot of my money. I've not been especially careful and not done that much trading. And I've made a couple of investments I've not sold on. Or not investments. I picked up Quaresma and Balassi from last week's Team of the Week, who kind of totaled sort of 80 odd K. I've got the Halloween Lukaku, just because I wanted to try him out and annoy Ben with a funky looking card. But, so actually, yeah, a fair few of my coins are in players currently, but I think in players that shouldn't be affected too much by a drop. I may sell on the Lukaku quite soon, because if Aguero and Ibra, for instance, start to come down in price, then his relative value as a Premier League striker will go down. Kind of, if it's easier to get elite Premier League strikers,
then
why would you pick up that Halloween Lukaku? But then again, supply of him is fairly limited. There aren't that many around.
And also the fact that the Inform is actually unbelievably expensive.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so the Inform is like very rare and unbelievably expensive because of the Hazard SBC. So I think that's a fairly safe card to have my coins in.
Yeah. So I think we're wrapped up on Black Friday /Reddit post. I've got a quick one from the forum just because it slightly annoyed me. We've got a gentleman, I'm assuming, who says that they should remove the absurd daily knockout requirements. And what this refers to is the fact that he's suddenly surprised that there's a silver tournament out that he can't enter because he doesn't have a silver team. I mean, the guy's got 3,000 posts on the forum. His name's Stew Party. Basically, he's saying that he's really annoyed because he can't enter this tournament. He's not built a silver team, blah, blah, blah. But you can see the tournament requirements far ahead of this.
Yeah, way in advance.
And on top of that, the fact that when I played the silver tournament a few weeks ago to get qualification, it was honestly some of the most enjoyable FIFA I've played.
Yeah,
hands down. And some other people in the thread have said the same. And I just wanted to say for the record that I think these kind of things should continue. And how else are people going to use their silver teams, use their bronze teams?
Yeah.
I'd love to see a silver weekend league. I think that would really level the playing field. You wouldn't see those same 40 players you see every weekend. And so, yeah, I'm just really kind of...
I think a silver weekend league would fuck with the market in a big way.
My apparel will be very, very expensive. So I'm thinking... so I just thought I'd mention that, and I'd be interested to hear anyone else's thoughts on this. Tweet us or whatever if you've been kind of frustrated by the random requirements. We're in a good position in that we don't tend to have to play the qualifying tournaments, or haven't since
in November we've both just been qualified automatically through getting gold each time.
And so maybe I'm being unsympathetic, but let us know if you have any thoughts on that.
I mean, the only time either of us has not qualified was me in the very first week, when I only had time to play one or two of the tournaments and happened not to win it. Other than that, we've both qualified really easily. We're probably above average FIFA players, but we're not brilliant.
Not world beaters.
Yeah.
And our teams haven't been... Well, you've obviously... I've jacked up your team recently, but back in the day it wasn't the case.
But yeah, back in the day in early October, I remember those days. But yeah, basically, this guy should not be complaining because the qualification tournaments are not that bad.
And basically, because I want to carry on playing silver tournaments.
Cool. That wraps up social and brings us on to our chat this week about Team of the Week. It's another cracker. Got, obviously, your boy Cristiano Ronaldo headlining it.
Yeah, it looks pretty amazing.
His second striker in form looks awesome. Other players of significant note, David Luiz, Yaya Toure, both looking very nice.
That David Luiz card.
The David Luiz card looks like an awesome ball-playing defender as well. 76 dribbling, 78 passing. That's going to be really good. Harry Kane, also not to be overlooked. Very good shooting, good physical. Also excellent passing. He'll probably make quite a good sort of target man, linking up the play.
Probably not ludicrously expensive. He's only going for sort of 70, 80k at the moment. I think 90.
I was looking last night. He was close to 100, but I'm sure he's dropped a bit now. Lorenzo Insigne, crazy agile. Had that awesome team the season card last year. I think he'd be a very nice one to pick up.
And nightmare to play against as well.
Yeah, horrible to play against. Defensively, as well as Luis, there's Socrates, who looks very nice if he's his non-inform. Big fan of that. Gonalons could also be very tasty.
I think that could be a really good card, actually.
And an honourable mention to Jermaine Defoe on the bench. Whatever age he is, still picking up informs. Potentially this one was maybe undeserved, but I guess Anichebe isn't in the game. So yeah, that Defoe card looks awesome. 88 shooting, and he's got some very tasty in games. And I guess in honour of Footstock and a couple of our friends on Twitter who are big fans of Artem Jubya, the striker in the Russian league, he looks tasty with 89 physical. But Ben, talk me through your first card that you wanted to highlight.
Yeah, so my first card is going to be Inigo Martinez, who's the Spanish centre-back, plays for Real Sociedad. And the thing about this card, again, as we talked about in previous weeks, he fills that niche. He's not only is he obviously he's a really good card, he is the third best Spanish centre-back behind Spanish centre-back in the BBVA, behind Ramos and Piqué, both of whom are quite expensive. And Piqué is a card that a lot of people will avoid just because of his pace. And on top of that, you've got the fact that the other Spanish centre-backs elsewhere, not in the BBVA, are very low pace.
Yeah, Javi Martinez in the Bundesliga.
Like Bartra.
Yeah, Bartra.
So yeah, it looks really good. He's as you'd expect, he already had decent pace. That's gone up. So if you stick anchor on him, 82 acceleration, 79 sprint speed, no problem there. He's got 72 agility, which is a stat I really think is underrated in centre backs. Just means you're less likely to get turned.
Yeah.
They can recover quickly. So yeah, stats. We've got 91 interceptions, 99 marking, 94 standing tackle, and 98 sliding tackle, along with 92 strength, 99 aggression, and 99 jumping.
That's pretty awesome, really.
You can't really get too much better than that.
Anchor doing its job.
Yeah, I mean, Anchor is just ridiculous. Part of me wonders why certain cards you'd buy the Inform, because when you put Anchor on them, their stats are already maxed out, like Barzagli.
Yeah, exactly. Nice, yeah. He looks really solid.
Yeah, I think he'd be really good, and not only that, but as I said, I was trying to make some hybrids before going in from Spanish. I think it was using Ander Herrera, trying to go into the BBVA, and he was pretty much the only card that was reasonable to use, and he's looking at like he's only going to be about 15k, so definitely pick him up.
Nice one.
He's one of the cards that could also rise because he does have that niche.
Yeah, a kind of quick Spanish centre back who is not like incredibly low rated or incredibly high rated.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, my first card is another defender, and he's a bit of a slightly hipster pick. Inspired by me packing second in form Piatov, the Ukrainian goalkeeper, last week, who is discard, and so I just decided I'd hold on to him in case maybe an SBC, and also the fact that Dario Serna is at Shakhtar Donetsk as well, and he's a guy who always seems to get at least 2 informs or a team of the season or something, and they look amazing. But I've never used one. I always kind of tell myself I'll use it, but then I don't get around to it. And this week I picked up his inform because as early as this morning he was pretty much a discard price. I got him for just over 10k, and I thought I'll hold on to him and potentially put a little kind of corner of a team together with Piatov Rakitsky, who's a centre back for Shakhtar.
Has decent pace and passing, doesn't he?
He's got decent pace and passing, yeah. But this Cerner card, without any chem cells or anything, is almost 80 across the board. The only stat that is below 80 is 78 pace.
Wow.
And if you look at his in-games, again, this is without any chem styles. Defensively, he's incredibly solid. 89 interceptions, 82 marking, 82 sand tackle, 80 sliding. So if you add Anchor onto that, he's well above 90 on all his major defensive stats.
And you get like 85 strength, wouldn't he, as well?
Yeah, exactly. 75. So he's got 75 strength base, 85 stamina, 87 aggression, which is quite an important one. My favourite overlooked stat, reactions, above 80, 83, which is a nice one. But where he really shines is probably actually going forward almost. He's got 89 passing on card, and again, without any boosts. That includes 90 vision, 89 crossing, 86 free kicks, 89 short passing, 91 long passing, and 90 curve, as well as 88 shot power. So he'll be an excellent free kick taker.
I mean, so if you put like Catalyst on him, you basically get him to like decent pace and maxed out passing.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a lot of different things you could do with chem stars for him, which is why I've just given base stats.
Because he's quite solid across the board.
He's solid across the board, depending on because what I was thinking I might do with him is swap him in game to central midfield, because I think he could run a game.
Yeah,
like,
and also
he's got high work rates. He's 5'10", so he's not small.
Yeah, 3-star skills as well,
and 3-star skills.
But also that doesn't reduce chemistry, as we found out at the beginning of the year with the note
yeah,
that
exactly.
EA left.
Once you're in game, chemistry is locked. So he'd still be playing at max chem if you swap him in game.
Like a pacey sort of CDM or central midfielder. And
yeah, but with also
wide.
like unbelievable playmaking abilities.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm quite excited to try him out actually. And who's your next pick?
So I think I'm about to out hipster you. Hopefully, we've got Buonanotte.
Buonanotte. Yeah.
Buonanotte. Yeah, I think Buonanotte. He's a cam. He plays for Universidad Católica, which I imagine means Catholic University. Just to guess.
Might be.
He plays in the Campeonato Scotiabank.
So the Chilean league.
Or the Bank of Scotland or something. Yeah. So
the, big Catholic University Celtic derby.
Yeah. So he's Argentinian. So I guess probably easier to link him in through that than through the league, because there aren't that many strong links actually.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's really looks like a strong card, because he's 5'3", and having played with Hazardous, who has similar stat balance.
Yeah, he's like 5'4", isn't he?
Yeah,
it's tiny.
He's it's a kind of combination that works well with agile, well balanced players. Just really hard to get off the ball. So yeah, what I've kind of was thinking, if you use him as a cam, you could go with something like Maestro. And the thing about him is he actually has really good long shots for a little guy. 98 long shots with Maestro. 81 shot power, and then also 97 short passing, 93 free kick accuracy, 90 curve, 84 vision as well. And the other really nice thing is that he has 97 agility and 99 balance, just unboosted.
Wow.
And with Maestro, 88 ball control and 96 dribbling. 77 stamina on him as well, so he can run a bit. And I was thinking his work rates are medium low. He's got 4-star, but the medium low is quite good, I think, for a cam.
Yeah, it can be quite a good combination.
If you want to keep them fit throughout the game, they're not tracking back and things.
Yeah.
And the other option is, I would say, is a wide cam. You want to go with something like Hunter, just to get that pace higher and get the finishing better, so that he can just sort of dart in behind and finish off moves. And yeah, because he's already got sort of 87 short passing and such crazy agility and balance, I think he'd be fine in that area. So yeah, he looks really good, and obviously will be discard undoubtedly.
Yeah.
And just an interesting player to pick up.
For sure.
And if you want to make a silver gold team, I think there are a few good silvers in the league.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're looking to seriously go for a hipster pick, you can probably make a really funky looking team there.
Because he's got this like perfect link with a left winger who's got like 92 pace. So if you just fancy someone to bang up and down the wing, I think that's pretty much it on team of the week, isn't it? Or have you got one more pick?
I was just gonna mention Frank Yannick Kessier, who is a silver centre mid who plays for Atlanta and Calcio A. He's from Ivory Coast, and he looks like a kind of mini. I was gonna say he looks like a mini, more defensive Yaya Toure, but basically he's just an Ivorian central midfielder who's quite good all across the board. He's been upgraded from a 70 rated car, non-rare, which looks quite average, and has been given this +4 boost to 74, and he looks awesome. Like on card, 70 pace, 77 dribbling, 75 defending, 80 physical, 75 passing, and a respectable 65 shooting, which equates in game to some lovely stats, like everything across his dribbling and defending, and almost everything across his passing and physical is above 70. Including 80 strength, 80 aggression, 86 jumping, 80 short passing, 78 standing tackle, 73 sliding tackle, and he's got medium work rates. He's 6 foot tall. I just think he looks like a really like awesome silver midfielder. And I think Ben, you were
my silvers.
Yeah, but you were also pointing out if he got another inform, he could be an awesome discard gold.
Yeah, because presumably, I don't know how they're going to do it. He'd have to get an increase up to around the 80 mark, because they seem to be. I think we're not sure how they're going to do
81
it yet,
seems to be the lowest rated gold inform we've seen.
And I mean, a +5 on those stats would just be absolute machine.
Yeah, he'd be a monster. So I think he's one. I've seen people in comments on his FUT page saying like he might be due a winter upgrade, stuff like that. So I think he's one to keep an eye on. Yeah.
Looks really good. And I'm a big fan of the silvers. And I think if you're looking to play the tournaments, etc., it's well worth picking up some of these kind of game-changing...
particularly maybe at a time when demand for them is low.
Yeah.
I mean, if the second it comes out on the schedule that there might be, for instance, a silver weekend league, like prices will skyrocket.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely worth just having a silver squad, kind of.
And maybe bronze. I need to build one, actually.
Yeah. Nice one. So moving on.
So you're going to bring the Dynamite Discard to the table?
Yeah, I've got a Dynamite Discard for this week. And it's a player I used in the weekend league this past week. He's French. He's a striker. He's 6 foot tall. Plays for AC Milan in Calcio A. It's Mbai Niang. I think we've mentioned him on the pod before, but we haven't looked in depth at him.
So I used him quite a lot early on.
Yeah, I used him early on. And I used him briefly, I think, on your account, and we both kind of felt he didn't finish well, but he was very strong and quick and stuff.
Ridiculously kind of good at getting past people in.
Yeah, he's got a lot of hustle about him. I used him in the weekend league and really liked him. Actually, to be honest, I had him alongside Lacazette in a 4-1-2-1-2 narrow with Ben Arfa just behind the two of them, in front of a midfield trio of Kante, Matuidi, and Verratti. So it's quite a combative midfield. Like there's a lot of niggly players from a defensive point of view, and kind of Verratti and Ben Arfa helping out going forwards. But yeah, Niang's really good. He's got 89 pace on card, as well as some fairly, to be fair, average shooting stats. Completely, like the thing that lets him down as a basic card is his shooting, because his dribbling is very solid. I think it's 82 as a base stat on card. But his real weakness on his in-games is his finishing, which is only 70 as default. So I put Sniper Chem Style on him to get that 15-point boost to finishing.
It's a huge boost,
which is massive, and takes his finishing up to 85. He's got a base shot power of 84. The boost from Sniper also takes his positioning up to 92. His agility to 90, ball control to 87, and dribbling up to 99 exactly, which is quite nice. And yeah, like I really felt it in terms of both the finishing and dribbling boost. Like he felt very agile, very nippy on the ball, and kind of double tap finesse shots were only slightly less consistent with him than with Lacazette, who I had alongside him, who's like kind of a
really good finisher,
an excellent finisher. So I would highly recommend him for a kind of budget, any kind of budget Serie A or French team, or also for me, I was using him to get an extra league in for my weekend league team, because we had to have 3 leagues last weekend, and I had a predominantly French team with a kind of Premier League defence, but then a couple of Ligue 1 players with Verratti and Aurier. But he kind of, initially I was a bit sceptical about putting him in because he was quite low rated, and I knew I'd used him before and he hadn't been brilliant, but I was really happy with him. And another thing to note about him is he is 6 foot tall. He only has 70 strength, but I would say he feels a lot stronger than that.
He does feel quite strong, yeah.
He feels quite kind of big and bulky.
It's very hard to push off the ball.
Yeah, if he gets goal side, he can stay goal side of the defenders, really. I'm a fan.
Yeah, no, he's really good. Like, I really enjoyed using him. I maybe stopped using him at a time when I felt like, because the formation I was playing, he was a lone striker, whereas I know you're playing him as one of 2. And I think just because you do need that really good finisher.
Yeah,
in that situation.
Had he been my sole striker, I might have been a bit frustrated because I wouldn't have someone necessarily to score those slightly harder goals.
Yeah, definitely. Great. Well, I'll jump straight in there with my informed impression. And it's a player we naturally covered, or I covered last week, Inform Quaresma. As I said at the time, I think I'd already picked him up, in fact. And yeah, I've had real success with him. I think, to be fair, there's not much to say in that he is just an improvement on his regular card. Yeah. He doesn't play particularly differently. He doesn't sort of... he's not like it's not a giant upgrade like you get on the lower rated golds. So he just feels like a really nice upgrade to to his regular rare card. And he's got, I think the biggest thing I found about him was his shooting did feel a lot better. That was something that was quite noticeable. His dribbling, I mean, I'd say the improvement to his dribbling, he's the best dribbler I've used this year. He really does feel good on the ball. But not only that, he's got that ability which a lot of players, wingers, don't have, to kind of create a goal with his passing. He's got really, really good passing. And I think that's made quite a difference in that position, just having someone with that kind of passing ability. But yeah, I used him at right mid, right wing and right forward. He was pretty good in all those positions. But I think right forward is possibly a bit too central. It's not, he doesn't get so much space unless you kind of use instructions which stop him from either allow him to drift wide or allow him to kind of stay back rather than trying to get in behind. He kind of, I think, is better as a right wing or right midfielder. The thing about playing him at right mid is he's obviously not as involved, as naturally right mids aren't on the ball as much. So I think right wing in sort of like a false nine, something like that, where he's got like space and can be kind of get some good link up play going with the false nine player and things.
Cool.
Would work quite nicely. And yeah, I'm just really enjoying him. He's got really good shooting from distance and volleys as well.
Yeah, his long shots have always been awesome. On this card, I think he's got long shot taker trait.
He's got and his free kicks. Weird, I've found I haven't scored many, but I think it's because I've got sniper on him, so there's no boost to his
interesting
his free kick stats because his free kick accuracy isn't super high. He's got sort of 83.
Yeah, low 80s, but 98 curve by default is pretty awesome.
It's pretty outstanding.
Cool.
I think he's just really, really good player, and he's not expensive at sort of 40 or K.
Yeah,
a bit less actually. I think it's maybe 35.
Yeah, I mean, I've picked him up just in the last day or so, and I'm looking forward to trying him out. Definitely.
Yeah, I think he's really good, and I mean, he's one of those players that is quite unique. He's a good player to use. Not the best in terms of links, but there's plenty of good Portuguese players, and I was actually using a Boubacar with him, and I used him back early on, but he's still pretty fun to use. So if you want to give that a go,
Quaresma to Boubacar, of course, a combination that got the 90th minute equaliser for Besiktas against Benfica last night.
A lovely Rabona
cross from Quaresma when you're 3-2 down in the 89th minute or whatever.
Yeah, most players just lump it in there, but
a bit audacious.
Yeah. So that's Quaresma for you. Yeah, really good. And if he's someone you've been thinking about picking up, then I would strongly recommend it.
Cool.
And I think just a quick nod, because I was using him in a team with Van Persie. So I had like a 4-3-2-1 with Quaresma, Van Persie and Depay. I was going to get the informed Depay, but decided not to because the midfield didn't work very well.
Yeah.
But that would have been quite a good combo.
And that was with informed Van Persie.
Sorry, informed Van Persie. So I thought I'd just give a shout out to informed Van Persie because he was actually really, really good. He is not the strongest and obviously not the quickest, but it didn't seem to matter too much because he's big enough to hold the ball up. And his shooting was just amazing. It felt like I was playing FIFA 12 with the finesse shots. I mean, he was literally just like, if you get him onto his left and from just outside the box and finesse it, you could finesse it into the top corner like relatively frequently.
Yeah.
And his finishing actually on the card isn't especially high, but I had sniper on him and just boosting those stats that are really good already.
Yeah.
And he
does have
really
90
stunning.
curve, doesn't he?
Yeah.
No, he's been a card that it's probably the first year in a while that I've not used him at all. Because he has just for the last few years always been very good.
Yeah.
So yeah, no surprise here. He's still got it to some extent.
Yeah, no, I mean, if he's the kind of player you need for a hybrid or what have you, then definitely worth it. There was talk of him possibly getting informed this week.
Yeah, he was definitely in a fair few.
Yeah, apparently he played like quite deep as well.
Yeah, I saw people claiming he might be a centre mid or something.
Yeah, but yeah, he's really good. And if he got another inform, I think he could be really excellent. pushing excellent because maybe he'd get over 70 pace and physical, which would be nice. Yeah, he's great. They're both great. Enjoyed them both, and I think that pretty much does us for the pod.
Yeah, that's it. It's a goodbye from me
and a goodbye from me. Although actually, just before we leave you, make sure you fill out our goalkeeper survey. That'd be very useful.
Yeah, one final plug for that.
Yeah, and as always, get in contact on social media if you have anything you want to say.
Yeah, any things for us to discuss on the pod, suggestions for Dynamite Discards, informed impressions, all that good stuff.
And if you're not sociable or keen on the media, send us an email
at footweekly@mail.com.
See you next week.
Bye.